What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports, and that is a sweep for your fightin' Phils. They sweep the Colorado Rockies, they get their asses out of town, and now they prepare themselves for the Los Angeles Dodgers this weekend. Had to make our butts clench a little bit at the end there with Jose Alvarado in the bases loaded situation, but he found a way to get out of it. But now he probably pitched himself out of, possibly pitching tomorrow, even though Rob Thompson would not use him 3 days in a row this early on in the season. Just a little bit of too much butt clenching for my liking. But a win is a win. They win by a score of 3-1, and yes, the Phillies offense did leave a lot of chances on the table. They had bases loaded again. They were not able to drive any runs home, even though there was a controversial one where it was a great play by the Rockies pitcher and Stallings, the catcher, at home plate. The original call at home was safe. I don't know how there was that much evidence to overturn the play and take the run off the board, but like I said, it is what it is. The Phillies still found a way to win. Kyle Schwarber with a bomb. Other players driving in some RBIs there. Bryce Harper getting the Phillies on the board. So overall, just also getting a little bit of help from the Rockies pitching. JT Realmuto stealing a couple of bases. Then, some wild pitches here and there allow him to score. So manufacture runs, I guess, at that point. But still, you ended up with a 3-1 win. And also, big story of the day, Taijuan Walker. Taijuan Walker. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I always had confidence in the guy. Always did. 6 scoreless innings. Great stuff from him. Overall, just good for him. Just good for him. I think that's the main takeaway from Taijuan Walker's start is just good for him. He definitely needed something like that, especially after all the crap that, he went through last season, sucking, and then just, all the hate going into him, him being forced back into the rotation. Good for him. And he let out some emotion at the end of his start, which was nice to see from him. But overall, it's a good thing. Now, do I actually think this is who Taijuan Walker is? Or is this just a production of him facing the Colorado Rockies? There's probably a little bit of both in there, but probably more on the fact that he is facing the Colorado Rockies and it is an easier task than not. But still, at the end of the day, good for him. He finally gets a win under his belt after the Phillies losing his last 10 starts or 13 plus starts last year. So just good for him overall. That's basically it there. So before we get into the rest of today, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to TTP Sports. If you are new to the channel, I recommend that you do hit that subscribe button. It does me such a great deal of service. You can also drop a like and leave a comment in the comment section down below. Excuse me. You can also use the code TTP Sports, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal. Don't pass it up. There's still a lot of tickets left over for this weekend series against LA, weather permitting. And, definitely use that code. It's a great deal. $20 off your tickets. Basically takes away the fees from you. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. You can also leave a follow at TTP Sports on TikTok, Instagram for real shorts and all that good stuff. So, getting into our business today, Phillies finish off the sweep of the Rockies. They are now 5-1 to start the season. And just from a pure overall view of this game, the Phillies got a lot of hits. They just were not able to get all of the hits when the runners were in scoring position, and especially comes at that point where they did have bases loaded opportunities. And I think that was around midway through the game, bottom of the second inning, they had a couple of base runners on as well. And, they just had their chances. They just weren't able to cash in those opportunities. I think it was actually the bottom of the second inning where they had the bases loaded opportunity. Kepler reached on with an infield single. JT Realmuto, who had a fantastic day at the plate, he got a single. Bryson Stott reached it on an infield single. And then, you get the Marsh, basically a swinging bunt. It was a good play by Senzatella, the pitcher for the Rockies at the time, and a good, play also by Stallings at home plate. But home plate umpire called him safe on the play initially. Rockies were obviously going to challenge that, but there was nothing. This is probably Phillies binoculars at this point, but still, even looking at it from a bland point of view, I don't think there was any real evidence as to why they overturned the call. I just didn't see that much. You can also throw an argument, maybe Kepler's foot got onto the corner of the base in time. Maybe he didn't. Maybe Stallings was blocking his foot from touching home plate. But I don't think there was just enough evidence to overturn that call and take a run off the board for the Phillies. So that happens. The call gets overturned. Kepler's out at home, so there's 2 outs in the inning for Kyle Schwarber, and then he ends up grounding out. And then basically, if you go through the rest of the game, bottom of the 3rd inning, Bryce Harper and Alec Boehm get singles, and then Max Kepler grounds out into a double play there. Bottom of the 4th inning, JT reaches on with a single, then Bryson Stott, unluckily hits JT in the base paths with his ground ball. So JT's automatically out and Bryson Stott gets awarded first base. That is a weird rule, in my personal opinion. You hit the base runner, but you still get awarded a base for it. That's just weird. That is just weird, but that's a little bit of unluckiness right there for Stott. Nothing happens in the result of that. Bottom of the 5th is when the Phillies finally get their first run. Schwarber, he gets on because of a fielding error, then Bryce Harper doubles down the right field line, which allows the Phillies to get on the board, which is nice there. Harper did get over the 3rd base, but Kepler was managed to, did not drive him home in that instance. Bottom of the 6th for the Phillies. Get a couple of base runners. Nothing happens there. Bottom of the 7th inning, Kyle Schwarber with an absolute nuke. He is just on pure fire right now. That ball was fucking crushed. Became a 2-0 Phillies lead. Phillies took the 3-0 lead when JT scored on a couple of wild pitches that managed to advance him on the base paths and managed to get him home. And then you get the crazy Jose Alvarado inning. Starts the inning off with a walk, then Taglia singles, and then Bouchard singles, which scores a run. Then he finally, after a very long at-bat with Stallings, it was a 9-pitch at-bat, managed to get him to strike out. And then Farmer, he singled to load the bases up, manages to strike Freeman out on a 6-pitch at-bat, and then managed to strike Doyle out on a 5-pitch at-bat after Doyle fouled a ball off of his ankle, which looked fucking painful. But thankfully, after all that butt clenching, Alvarado found a way to get out of it. Jesus fucking Christ. But if we look at the pitching stat line today, Taijuan Walker, 6 innings, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts on 74 pitches. Just good for him overall. He just definitely needed something like this. And like I said, it's probably more in the fact that he is facing the Colorado Rockies, but still it's good for him nonetheless just to get that win and get a good start under his belt. Just hopefully for his confidence. Kerkering comes out of the bullpen in the 7th inning, did some good stuff. Also, I apologize, there is construction going on in the back for our deck, so you're just going to have to leave that as it is and just ignore it, hopefully. Romano comes in for the 8th inning, allows a hit, strikes out 1 on 14 pitches, so a good appearance from him. And then you get the Jose Alvarado nightmare with 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts on 35 pitches. He is definitely not going to be available for tomorrow. I'll tell you that for free. Kyle Schwarber going to the lineup now. Schwarber goes 1 for 5 with the solo shot, 2 runs scored. Trey Turner in the 2-hole goes 1 for 4. Bryce Harper had a better game. He went 2 for 4 with the RBI double. Alec Boehm 1 for 4. He didn't use the torpedo bat in this game, so definitely interesting there. Max Kepler goes 1 for 4. Nick Castellanos goes 0 for 2. JT Realmuto had a fantastic day at the plate. He went 3 for 3 with a walk. Bryson Stott goes 2 for 3 with a walk, and then Brandon Marsh went 0 for 2, but he had 2 walks on the day. Runners in scoring position, the Phillies went 2 for 11 there. They left 10 runners on base. And yeah, that's basically it from an offensive standpoint. The Rockies are the Rockies. There's really no point of looking at them because they suck. You're 5-1 on the year. The Braves lost again yesterday, just in hilarious fashion. They go up 5-0. We were talking about it on last night's stream where it was like in the 5th inning or the 6th inning when it was 5-3 Braves at that point. The Dodgers ended up tying it, I believe, in the bottom of the 8th inning. And then Shohei Ohtani hit the walk-off shot in the bottom of the 9th to give the Dodgers a lead. So they are, what are they? They're 7-0, 8-0 on the year, and the Braves are 0-7, I believe, if that's the fact. I think that's the case. It's crazy stuff. Yeah, the Braves are 0-7, and the Dodgers are 8-0. My God, that is just insane. That is completely insane. Never would have thought about that right there. But also just some early looking into some team stats right here throughout baseball, just because there are some things that are possibly intriguing to that point. In terms of, basically, like I said, it's still way too early to even really deep dive into all this stuff, but there is some progress, but it also could just be in the reflection of the teams that you are playing. But still, first 6 games, might as well just look at some of the team stats. So far, the Phillies, they lead baseball in batting average. They are second in baseball in on-base percentage. They are the second best team in terms of slugging percentage. They are the second best team in terms of OPS. And also, for the people that care about the strikeouts, the Phillies are the team so far in Major League Baseball that has struck out the least. But I think that still hasn't updated for today. I think the Phillies, they struck out, I believe, a couple of times today. They struck out 7 times today, so they got to add 7 to the total right here. But before today's game, they were the team that struck out the least in Major League Baseball, so you add 7 to 39. It's around 48, so it'll go up a little bit there, so they'll move up the board a little bit. So they're still top 10 in terms of striking out the fewest times in baseball. So even with that 19 strikeout, performance on opening day, striking at the least right now, so there's a little bit of patterns. It's a little bit of patterns right there. Let's see. In terms of everything else, at this point, you got to extend Kyle Schwarber, right? You got to extend Schwarbs. Dude's on fire right now to start the year. Dude's on absolute fucking fire. And I know that definitely was a conversation point with him and JT Realmuto. I was more in favor of signing Schwarbs. That was always the obvious point there. But JT, no. I'm probably more on the fence with JT rather than not. But Schwarber, yeah, you got to extend him. You got to extend him. So I think that's bottom line, in my personal opinion. So if we there's really nothing much on the Twitterverse. If I saw anything like that there, I don't think I did. Here's some other things. Most strikeouts by Phillies pitching. This is from John Foley on Twitter. Most strikeouts by Phillies pitching for the first 6 games of the season. 2025, they have 76 strikeouts. That is the most. 2018, they had 65. 2021, they had 62. 2017, they had 60. And 2023, they had 59. That also, goes into the fact of Luzardo having a 10-plus strikeout performance, Zach Wheeler having his strikeout performance, Aaron Nola striking out 8+, Christopher Sanchez striking out a bunch, and also the bullpen striking out as many people as possible as well. That also factors into it. What else? Don't think there's anything else stat-wise from any of this here. But I think the general reaction, the reaction to Taijuan Walker's outing was pretty much in the, from Philly fans. Some of the Phillies fans gave him a good ovation when he came out of the ball game. So good for him there. I think basically everyone's just in the same mindset of good for him because he just definitely just needed it at the end of the day. So it's good for him to go out in his first start and just, manage to go 6 scoreless. And I'm going to keep saying it's most likely due to the competition that he is playing. But still good for him nonetheless. And in terms of, the offense, because I do see Julian in the chat here being negative, as he is, but yeah, definitely when you have a bunch of those bases loaded opportunities, you got to make them count. Granted, you're not going to hit in every single opportunity when you have a bases loaded. Got to make the most of it count, though. And granted that you have been playing the Washington Nationals and the Colorado Rockies, them not getting those runs kind of does lead frustrating at the end of the day, and especially if you do end up getting those chances against better opponents and better teams. Yeah, you're going to have to make those opportunities count, and especially when you don't score with those opportunities, those better teams are probably going to make you pay, like a team like the Los Angeles Dodgers, who you're going to be playing this weekend. But it's not the end of the world right now. Still, the first 6 games of the season, those numbers are most likely going to improve. So I'm not going to kill them for it right now. If it becomes a pattern, if you're talking about months into the season, yeah, that's when you start getting annoyed. But overall, the offensive numbers, let's see some other offensive numbers. Walks, I think the Phillies, they're in the middle of the pack in walks right now. Strikeouts, they're in the bottom, they're in the top 10 in terms of striking at the fewest so far in these first few games. Average, they're up there. On base percentage, they're up there. Slugging and OPS are up there. That's also granted to the fact with, Edmundo Sosa, Kyle Schwarber, all that stuff doing their thing. Max Kepler also doing a lot with the power as well. So, yeah. So I guess we can look at this upcoming Dodgers series before we get to some of you guys in the chat and before we get to the Anytime Hotline as well. So obviously this is all weather permitting. We don't know what the weather forecast is going to be like for this weekend. It just keeps saying rain, 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 rain. But there's also some reports that during game time it'll be fine. So you're basically just playing it by ear. So we don't know. So looking at this Dodger series, they're 8-0. The Dodgers are due for a loss at some point. Even Dave Roberts said in their game yesterday against the Braves that they found a way to win. Dave Roberts even said they didn't deserve to win that game. So maybe they're close to losing a game, but, 8-0, you're eventually going to lose a game at some point. And maybe the Phillies are that team to make the Dodgers lose a game. I don't know. I don't know. But tomorrow's game, it'll be Jesus Luzardo going up against Yoshinobu Yamamoto. In his first couple of starts of the season, he pitched against the Chicago Cubs, went 5 innings, struck out 4 there, and then against the Detroit Tigers, he went 5 innings, struck out 10, allowed 2 earned runs. So, Yamamoto, star in Japan, injured a lot last year, but still a really good pitcher. Then you got Saturday as Aaron Nola going up against Roki Sasaki. His first couple of starts have not been the best. He obviously has not pitched deep in the ball games. He went 3 innings against the Cubs and struck out 3, walked 5, and then went 1 2/3 against the Detroit Tigers, allowed 2 earned runs, walked 4, struck out 2. So hasn't been the best start to his very young major league career there. And then for Sunday, it's Aaron Nola going up against Tyler Glasnow. I believe he had his first start against the Atlanta Braves, if I'm not mistaken, this past couple of days. So yeah, he went 5 innings, no earned runs, 2 hits, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. So a good performance from him there. Really, he's a good pitcher. It's just basically, can he stay healthy? And he really has not been able to stay healthy every single season. So that's really just a turning point for him. And then after that Dodger series, you got a day off on Monday. Then you go play the Atlanta Braves. You go play the St. Louis Cardinals. Then you're back against the San Francisco Giants. If you're just looking at the NL West in general, the NL West, every team besides the Colorado Rockies are above 500. Dodgers are 8-0. Padres are 7-0. Imagine being 7-0 and still not being in first place in your division. That's crazy. The Giants are 5-1. The Diamondbacks are 4-2. And then you got the lowly Rockies. So feel bad for Rockies fans that have to go through this season playing a lot of the NL West. Oh my God, crazy things. It's crazy stuff there. So let's get to the Anytime Hotline. Let's get to Sean's call here before we get to you guys here in the chat. Let's do that right now. Let's do this. Set it up, and there we go.
All right, all those who had Taijuan Walker pitching 6 shutout innings, raise your hand. Anybody? Anybody at all? It's a good thing he did because, the last inning was kind of indicative of the whole game. I mean, it was just a struggle, just ugly. And the Phillies offense, I'd go so far to say is they weren't ugly. They were ugly. I mean, they were downright nasty today. How many ways can you not score? If they found them, they were there. They found them. I mean, I don't know what Brandon Marsh is doing, trying a delayed steal with Kyle Schwarber at the plate.
Oh, I forgot.
Explain that one to me.
I completely forgot
about
that.
But again, better to win ugly than lose pretty. It's a win. And tip of the cap to Taijuan. I mean, the Rockies suck. Keep that in perspective. But the guy still went out there and pitched above and beyond what the 5th starter's supposed to do. Good thing he did. But the bats have to get going. This should be a fun series with the Dodgers. I mean, they might have a little revenge in mind because we swept them at home last year, if I'm not mistaken. But it'll be interesting to see. The crowd will be jacked. It'll be electric there. Should be a fun series.
I hope it is. Still, the Dodgers are 8-0. And it always comes to the fact you're eventually going to lose a game or two. So maybe we'll catch the Dodgers at the right time. I don't know. I completely forgot about the fucking Marsh JT base running blunder. I had no idea what the fuck was going on there. It's either there was miscommunication between Marsh and JT. Marsh was trying to go to make sure JT can run home and try a chance to steal home or something like that. I have no idea why that was the reason, because why are you taking the bat out of Kyle Schwarber's hands? Why are you taking the moment out of Kyle Schwarber's hands? Because the very next inning when he let off, he hit the solo shot. So, granted, it probably wasn't guaranteed that he would hit a home run on that specific at bat with the runners on, but still, you never know. Kyle Schwarber, with the way that he is swinging, can't get the bat out of his hands. So, that was just, stupid. That was probably their first stupid base running. Nah, I wouldn't say first stupid because Bryce Harper, over-aggressive. Kyle Schwarber had some base running craziness and all that stuff. But, just stupid. Just stupid in that specific point. But, yeah, I hope this series against the Dodgers is good. I sold the first game that I had available. Still trying to sell game 2. No one's buying game 2. No one's buying the Saturday game. For some reason, they bought the Friday game. No one's buying the Saturday game. Now, it's probably people that are weary about the weather, which makes sense, but buy the tickets. Come on. Got them on SeatGeek. Go purchase them. Go purchase them. My God. So, let's get to the chat right here before we end it off, and you guys can enjoy the rest of your Thursday afternoon. Michael, how you doing? 6 scoreless by Taijuan, baby. Yep, everyone predicted that. Just like everybody predicted. American Loyalists, they will re-sign Kyle, right? I think they would re-sign Kyle. I think they would. At this point, there's really a hard argument against it with the way that he is swinging the bat and the way that he's basically just been productive for you over the course of this contract that he is on. It's kind of hard to say no to that, honestly. Pitching is never the issue. The offense was not impressive in the series. Left a lot of men on in the past seasons. You can't do this against good teams. Sweeping already, huh? Can't be mad about that. Tyler says that. Julian, it's 6 games. The not scoring against starting pitching, that'll get fixed. They're not going to be like that the entire year. I'm not going to be overly critical of them in the first 6 games of the year. I'm just, Julian, I know you stray more negative just because of past seasons and you're more heartbroken, and that's what is stressing your opinion. I've seen, we've had our chats in the comment sections and all that stuff. But I think after 6 games, I think it's still a little, still a little too early to go too critical here. They're 5-1 and they're not scoring against starting pitching. Granted, yes, they are playing the Rockies and the Nationals, so it'll change it when they play better competition, but I would assume the Phillies get better as the year goes along in terms of that specific outcome. Like when you look at the splits between them scoring runs against starting pitching and their splits against scoring runs against the bullpen, it's so drastic in both different directions that everything regresses to the mean. They're going to score eventually against starting pitching, and they're probably going to score way more against starting pitching, and they probably won't score as much against the bullpen, you know what I mean? So it'll regress to the mean. It will. Most things always do. Put Sosa at cleanup tomorrow. I was definitely shocked that they left Sosa out of the lineup today. But it's Rob Thompson. You got to get your guys, your main guys that you want in there some at bats. But yeah, it's definitely hard, especially with the way Sosa is swinging it, to keep him out of the lineup. I feel like putting him up in the lineup probably wouldn't be the best. I think he's good as a bottom of the lineup guy. And also, he's a plug and play type of guy. You don't want to overuse him. He came in for that huge stretch last year when Turner got injured, and he was big for you. But then eventually that died out the more you played him. So it's probably the best idea to use him in spurts so you don't weigh out the magic and burn out the magic that he's producing right now. But yeah, it definitely is a very tough decision to not put him in the lineup. I completely understand that. I'm not entirely sure because you got 3 righties for the Dodgers these next 3 days, so obviously you'll be going with the traditional, Schwarber leadoff lineup. So I don't think Sosa sees the lineup this weekend, in my personal opinion. Don't think it happens. What's the pitching matchup for the series? It's Luzardo against Yamamoto tomorrow, Nola on Saturday against Roki Sasaki, and then Christopher Sanchez against Tyler Glasnow. So, granted, everyone's still probably very stingy from Nola's start against the Nationals, but still, Nola will give you good starts. It's probably the 3 better pitchers besides Aaron Nola that you could put out there against the Dodgers. And Yamamoto, we'll see what I don't think we faced Yamamoto last year. Did we? I don't think we did. So it might be our first time seeing it. Yeah, it'll be our first time seeing him. So that'll be interesting. Sasaki, his first 2 starts definitely have not been the best, and obviously they're not forcing him to go deep in the ball games, it looks like. And then Tyler Glasnow, it'll be his 2nd start of the season, so most likely he won't be going deep into the game either. And for Yamamoto starts, he's only been going 5 innings. So we'll see. We'll see. But we'll see what Luzardo was like in his 2nd start after the really good debut that he had in the Phillies uniform. Nola, I'm sure, will bounce back from, the national start. And then Christopher Sanchez at home, it's Christopher Sanchez at home, so. Sasaki crying on Saturday. I did see that picture of him crying in the dugout after his last start. I kind of feel bad for him, but it's hard to feel bad when all these guys go to the Dodgers and you struggle. It's like, you chose to go here. You chose this. So it's kind of hard to feel bad for him, but also he's a young kid. So you do feel bad for him at the end of the day that he just wants to go out there and perform well. But save that for after the Phillies start. Save that for after the Phillies start. Let's look at some of the other pitching matchups that they have in the upcoming days. So, in the series against the Braves, after the off day on Monday, Zach Wheeler and Chris Sale will be facing each other in that Tuesday start, so that'll be a good matchup. Then it's Taijuan Walker against Schwellenbach, and then Jesus Luzardo against Smith-Shawver. So, interesting stuff. Then in St. Louis, it's Nola Sanchez and Wheeler against Palante, Michaelis, and Liberatore. I guess that's how you pronounce his name. And you come home against the San Francisco Giants. That's a 4-game series against them. Miami Marlins, Mets on the road, Cubs on the road, Nationals at home. First ESPN game is against the Cubs. That's interesting. What are some of the other nationally televised games that they have this year? So they got a Fox game against Chicago. They got Apple TV, obviously, tomorrow against the Dodgers. And I think that's a Fox Sports 1 game, so I'm not sure if that's going to be on both NBC Sports Philly or just Fox Sports 1 exclusive. I have no idea. But they got a Fox game against the Cubs. They got an ESPN game against the Cubs. They got an ESPN game against the Guardians of all teams for some reason. They got another Fox Sports 1 game against the Brewers. They got an ESPN game at home against the Mets. What about the second half? Any nationally televised games in the second half? Does not say right here. Does not say. So, we'll see what it does when it gets to it. Phillies usually do not fare well against Japanese pitchers. We'll just break that trend tomorrow. Weather permitting. Weather permitting. What are the times for Saturday and Sunday's game? I think Sunday's game is an afternoon one, and I think Saturday it might be early afternoon, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Saturday 4:05 and then Sunday 1:35. So you got 2 afternoon tilts there. And tomorrow's at 6:45, usually what they are during the week. The 3 Braves games are obviously at 7:15. The first Cardinals game is at 8:15. The Saturday and Sunday Cardinals games are at 2:15. Yeah. So you got night game on Friday with the City Connect jerseys. So, Sean, you're going to have to put some sunglasses on for those City Connects just to shield your eyes. And Saturday and Sunday, 4 o'clock, 1:35. So we'll see. We'll see. But, yeah, I think that's a good spot to end it here. In terms of, do I want to do like a live stream during one of these games against the Dodgers? Maybe. Maybe we could do tomorrow or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe one of these games against the Dodgers. Sundays with Schmidt, God help us all. I wonder when Hamels gets on the broadcast. I wonder when Cole gets on the broadcast, because that'll be interesting. Because I'm sure Kruk will be on the broadcast for this weekend, but I'm not sure when Hamels gets on. Maybe Hamels would be the first guy to use when they go on the road. I have no idea. It's weird though. I haven't seen Ben Davis on pregame. Is Ben Davis still one of their broadcasters? I have no idea. I have no idea. Hopefully that's the case if he isn't. What else? Oh yeah, Sean, are you I'm sure you'll be focused on Overwatch for the next couple of games, because I think Alex Ovechkin and the Capitals, they play tomorrow, right? If I'm not mistaken. I kind of just want to go off topic there for the Ovechkin like goal scoring thing with Gretzky. Yeah, obviously they don't play today because they played last night. He did score a goal, so he's 3 goals away from passing Gretzky. So that'll be fun to see. And let me just actually go to the Capitals website and just see what their schedule is. Hamels is doing 1 home series a month. Interesting. Let's see what Ovi's schedule's like the rest of the year. Okay, he's got 3 goals to score, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more games left. He's getting the record at some point. It'd be nice if he did it on home ice. That would be very nice if that happened. They play the Blackhawks tomorrow, so that would be a very good chance for him to get a hat trick or maybe even 2 goals. So that would be nice. They play the Islanders on Sunday. Then they have 3 days off. They play Carolina at home. Then they play Columbus. They play Columbus basically back-to-back there. Then the Islanders and the Penguins. That would also be very good if he did it against the Penguins. That would be also very funny, but I think it would be more more storybook. It'll be storybook regardless because you're fucking Pascal and Gretzky. But if you did it on home ice, that'd be really good. The Flyers screwing up the draft has soured me on hockey currently. I understand that. I do have that same kind of viewpoint just because I want them to lose more. But they have had a lot of days off in between, and they really didn't look the best against Nashville. Granted, Nashville's a worse team than them. I think they will start losing games, even though Matvei Michkov's playing completely out of his mind. It's what's best for the franchise. They need to bottom out and get that top pick. And I know a lot of people said, oh, well, you guys keep complaining about getting top picks, but then last year you're talking about, oh, draft Bullion because he's in the spot that you're in. It's like, yeah, there are players that might fall to you, but you can't guarantee that. You're better guaranteed of getting a better player if you're up higher in the draft. So I still think at the end of the day they'll end up with a top 7 pick. I just don't know what spot specifically they'll be in. But I can't let that sour me watching Ovechkin. I can't let that sour me watching him break history. I can't watch that. I can't let that sour my note. So you got to watch Ovechkin. So, but less on that. I think it's a good time to end it here because they are starting to get louder out there. So, thanks guys for tuning in as always. So don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Does me a great deal of service. And also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal. Don't pass it up. Appreciate you guys for tuning out.